Hi, and welcome to all of those of you who are joining us live either on Facebook or YouTube and or watching the replay. Welcome very much. And don't forget to tell us in the comments where you are calling in from. Oh, and I'm Robin Forster. I am your host with Feel So Alive, and I am in Eugene, Oregon in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And I am so excited to welcome you and welcome everyone here to the season 2 of Feel So Alive Informed. And we have morphed a little bit, the world has changed. And we've morphed a bit from our previous programming, and we hope you enjoy and find value in our updated program. Oh, and if you have been following me for a while, you've probably noticed that I like to try out new things, which sometimes leads to some interesting adventures. So please be kind and just hang in there with us during this short program. Okay, so let's get to it. And I'm going to bring our person on and I will tell you a little bit about her. Hey, Ali, there you are.
Hi.
Hi. So last week, Allie was with us as we discussed her first book. It's Between You and Me. Yeah, last week. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my days and weeks confused. Anybody else? Okay. So the first chat we did was a book Between You and Me. And that's a book that I just really needed. I'm in that phase of life where I need to know about aging and adult children and making the whole thing work. Um, but this week we've been done something very different. Your second book, which is about betrayal. And the part one was December 13th. And yeah, I'm reading some of these dates so that I don't get them messed up. But so now we're chatting about Born of Betrayal, which is from breakdown to breakthrough. But let me tell you a little bit about you, Allie, and then I know that you'll be able to jump in and add
Sure.
anything that I forget.
Okay.
Okay, you are a best-selling author. You're also a transformational coach and you're an international speaker. For over 25 years, you have dedicated your life to helping women step into their greatness and become their own best friend. So, to start off this discussion, I mean, why not just jump into it? How has the experience of writing this book, how has that influenced your work and your business?
Well, it has influenced my work in many ways. Most importantly, I think, was that I realized that um, betrayal is a very common thing. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that 95% of us on the planet will be betrayed at least once in their life. That's a huge statistic. What's interesting is that most people think of betrayal, they think of infidelity. They think of a spouse or a partner that's cheating. But betrayal goes much deeper than that. It is a spoken or unspoken promise or agreement that gets broken. And so it can be infidelity, it can be cheating, it can also be a best friend, slighting you. It could be a boss who promises you a raise and then gives it to somebody else. It could be your body, which you've taken such good care of, suddenly has cancer. And where did that come from? And now you can't do the things that you enjoy. It leaves you with this feeling of not knowing who you are and feeling victimized. And so as I went through my process of healing, what I realized was that yes, I was betrayed. I was betrayed by my best friend. I was betrayed by my husband. And I could look back over the years and I could see many instances in which I was betrayed. And what I recognized was that beyond everybody else's betrayal of me, I had betrayed myself over and over again. And so the way that that shows up in our lives as women is that we don't take care of ourselves. We put other people's needs before our own. We say yes when we really want to say no. We let other people's agendas drive our own. We accommodate what other people want and give up on ourselves. Those are all ways that we abandon ourselves, we devalue ourselves, which ultimately is a betrayal. And as long as we are doing that to ourselves, the rest of the world will keep doing it too. So we can fight to be equal, we can fight for our rights, and we can fight for equal pay. But that inner critic inside of us, if we don't learn to understand and embrace her and stop betraying ourselves, none of that will ever matter. And so that's one of the things that really came out of my own experience and then working with other women and realizing that this betrayal is a legacy. It's not just that I do it to myself. It's that my mother did it to herself and her mother to herself and back and back and back, all the way to the beginning of recorded history. We women were either the cause or the curse of all the wrongs. You look in the Bible, look at it starts with Eve, right? And so that's what has to change in the world. We have to start to know, love, and honor ourselves in such a way that we stop abandoning ourselves, we stop sacrificing ourselves, we stop betraying ourselves. And when we do that, we not only do we become these powerful, incredible women, but our relationships change with men too, because it leads them into a place where they can be their magnificent selves too, and they're not competing with us anymore.
Well,
It's a biggie.
I like, yeah, I like how you say that though. It's the compassion that you're showing that we need to show ourselves.
Right.
That self love, the compassion, the being loyal to ourselves, and when we're not, then we're actually being disloyal. But who would
Mhm.
know? Because we're taking care of everybody else, and we're
Right.
doing what we think everyone else will make them happy. Um,
And
and
that
and I
only
was
lasts a while. After a while, we start to get very angry and resentful and bitchy and all the things that we don't want to be.
exactly, and in the book you talk a little bit about being friends with ourselves and loving
Mm,
ourselves, and
mm.
I think that's such a challenge with all the things that we're talking about. And if you don't mind, I know that this is a real short interview, but if you wouldn't mind talking about the mountain man and maybe just doing just a little bit. We don't want to do a heavy spoiler alert on this, but
Okay.
I was yeah, because I was struck with how that kind of showed the progression that you had gone through, the pain, the grieving, the forgiving yourself, the hurt, all those things wrapped up into a very small time frame. So just a couple of
Yeah.
minutes about the mountain man.
Okay. Well, I should preface it by saying, I had a lifetime of betrayal, starting with my father and all the way through my husband and my best friend. And when I left and got my divorce, I spent a year by myself. I hadn't dated anybody. And then I met this man online. And boy, he was charming and he was handsome when he was charming. And he offered this place up in the mountains. And when I would go visit with him, we would listen to Ram Dass and we would do yoga, and the place would be lit by candles. And he was a cordon bleu trained chef, and he would cook these amazing dinners, and we would dance in the moonlight. Okay. Isn't that wonderful? Sounds so wonderful. And then
Fabulous.
he
Sounds very
know,
perfect.
right? And I am like thinking, oh my gosh, this is why all this stuff happened to me. And so he asked me to move in, and I move in with him. And no sooner had I moved my stuff into the house that everything changed. No more music, no more dancing, no more cordon bleu, dinners. He became sour and angry and dark and demanding. And then I find out that he is a two-time felon. He spent time in jail. I mean, you talk about like going from I was like this dumb, innocent, like, woman who had no clue at all. And and when I realized all of this stuff and he started to treat me really badly, I had no place to go. I had not a dime to my name. I used everything I had to move to his place 3 hours away. And I didn't care. I just knew I had to get out. I called my sons and I said, I need help. One son lent me money. The other son came with a truck. The other one came and helped load me up. And I left and I couch surfed on my friends' couches for months until I figured out where I was going to land. And I remember the day I drove away and I'm crying. I'm crying and the sun is shining and I'm coming down off this mountain. We're literally a mountain of 500 acres of mountain. The guy blew pot and I don't even smoke it. So I'm coming off this mountain and I'm crying and I'm just crying tears of joy because I did it. I got away, I didn't waste 18 years of my life or 3 years or 10 years or 3 months. That's all it took. From the day I met him, I moved in a month and a half later, and within a month I was out. And I was so proud of myself that I didn't let money or the fact that I had gotten on Facebook and told all my friends that I was madly in love and happy and this was it. I didn't care what the world thought. I didn't I just knew I had to take care of me. I wasn't going to let bad stuff continue. And that was a huge pivotal moment for me. That's
Well,
the story.
that's what I was thinking with the Mountain Man stories, because you had to work through so much stuff to get to a point where you could honor and value yourself enough to say, "Whoa, this is not what I signed up for. I'm worth so much more than this. I value myself more." And so that's what I really appreciated, because as we both
Yeah.
know, there's so many folks that stay in relationships that basically kind of
Mm.
suck, you know?
Well, and again, and a lot of times we do because, I had told all these people. Now that there's shame in that. Now I'm walking away and a month later, how stupid could you be? I lost my money. How stupid could you be? I mean, it was all these things that would have kept me there 5 years earlier. But
Uh,
I I knew not only that I was worth more, but there was a part of me, like you mentioned, that I forgave myself for those decisions. I I knew when I made those decisions, I made them based on what I knew. And what I knew was that everything was cool. It was going to be good. It was going to be wonderful. And when it wasn't, I could forgive myself for making those choices and now make a different one. And forgiving yourself
nice.
is number one. You can try and forgive everybody else, but until you really forgive yourself, forgiveness is not going to happen for anybody else. It's just not. It's impossible.
Well,
It's impossible to others as long as you have not forgiven yourself for your part. And there's always a part. Even though I was not the one who cheated, even though, these people did these things to me, the part of me that stayed all those years, that was the part that allowed the betrayal that they did to happen, because I was already betraying myself by staying in the first place. And I wasn't going to do that again.
well, as I'm trying to pull all of this together, because this is wonderful, and y'all should read the book. I mean, just let me put it out there. It makes all of this is just amazing material and the story. But what is it that you want women to walk away from? Or walk away with? I'm sorry. What
I
are the
believe,
points?
yeah, I truly believe that in order for the world to heal, that we are a mess, right? We pretty much all agree that the world is a mess.
Yeah.
And and I really believe that for healing to occur and for us to be able to change the world, women have to um, step not just step into their power, because that's been said a lot. It's really more about the union between our feminine energy and our masculine energy coming together within us in alignment, and that we do learn to know, love, and honor ourselves in such a way that we can look across the aisle to anyone who is not me and love, honor, and know them too. And so I want women to know that this is an amazing time that we are in, and that it really is about them learning who they are and learning what loving oneself is, because most people don't know, and to recognize that the betraying of self is something that's been epigenetically passed down for centuries, and that it's up to us to stop it. And when we stop it, all abuse will stop, because we are the creators. We are it. It all starts with us, right? So,
Wow.
I mean, we mother our children and we raise our sons. We're not going to raise the kind of men we want our sons to be as long as we are still constantly betraying ourselves. It's just not going to happen. So, if we want men to change, we have to change. We have to change. We have to love ourselves. And that's what I want women to do. And that's what I help them do in my
Wow.
practice. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent segue, because I know that you have a freebie that you wanted to offer folks. And we didn't get much of a chance for you to talk about your practice or where you're based. So let's take 2 minutes and do that.
Okay, so what I'm offering is this little ebook that's a self care checklist, and it takes you through some ideas of how to take care of yourself. When most women are asked, do you do self care? They say yes, and they're talking about massages and they're talking about, um, oh, there you go. There's my question. And I offer a complimentary breakthrough session so people if they go onto my website, which is alidavidsonlifeacademy.com, they can just make an appointment to talk to me. It's a free 30-minute conversation to see where they're at and what I do and whether or not it's a good fit. And if I can help them, wonderful. And I can usually do a lot of little tips and tools within that 30 minutes that can change people's lives too. I'm located in Ashland, Oregon. I'm also in the Pacific Northwest. I love this little town and invite anybody to come down here because it's gorgeous. And I have a private practice here, and I also work with people online.
Excellent. Great. Well, Ali, thank you so much. And I really appreciate all the time that you've been able to carve out of your busy schedule to meet with us. Thank
I
you.
have
That's
enjoyed
been
it very
awesome.
much. Thanks, Rabbit. Appreciate it.
Oh, great. Thanks. And back to the screen that has the information that you were looking for.